皆さん、こんにちは。内野隆司です。いよいよ今回がグレッグとの対談の最終回となります。これまでの対談では、彼がどのように武術と出会い、学び、人生に生かしてきたのかを深く掘り下げてきました。最終回では、武術の持つ多様な価値や、それが人生にどのような影響を与えるのかについて語っています。また、グレッグが困難を乗り越えながら培ってきた人生観や武術を通して人に伝えたいメッセージにも注目していただきたいです。長年の友情を通じた率直な対談をぜひ最後までご覧ください。それでは、どうぞ。I spent over 3 decades of developing some program. What do you think of it? Do you see any fitness what do you think?
I think it's great. The thing is, it's like whatever, there's so many different facets of martial arts that people have, they can gravitate towards where they feel is best for them. And that's what the unique thing about the martial arts is it's not like a sport where you're playing that sport and that's where you go to get better at that sport. Well, you can come into the martial arts school because you want to be more confident. You can come into the martial arts school because you want to become more fit. You want to come to the martial arts school because you want to learn to interact with people differently. You can come to the martial arts, school because you want to learn self-defense. You can come in there because you want to be a competitive athlete. And everybody can coexist under the same roof and still benefit each other.
Right.
And that's, I think, is a huge thing about the martial arts that makes it very unique, is that it's not just one way. There's so many ways to look at it and train through. And even as a competitive athlete, like some of them will almost get burnt out if all they think about is training for the fight. And it's like, well, why don't you just do martial arts for fun then? And then when you are getting ready for your fight, you can focus in on that. But then when you're done, you learn more, and then you bring it back in, you learn more. And so it becomes
Very good.
not just that thing. I think that's a huge way to allow yourself to maintain that passion to compete because you're just never done learning.
But I know we are friends.
Yes.
And a longtime friend. And I'm so proud of you. And I mean it. And I thank God that you are well like this and you are now teaching like this and be passionate about what you're doing. And that really, really gives a lot of kids, like you say, the passion is something, it creates a miracle. And along with the faith, because you are reaching to the faith where a lot of people come to the faith from many, many different angles, but you came pretty hard way. I am too. I got faithful, experiencing a lot of some tough time.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll talk more about this one. So when I go to Minneapolis to see you over beer or something. But
Yes.
I need to ask you that it's hard to ask. You're gonna have to tell something about me because that's my staff's been kind of asking. So what do you think of me doing things what I've been doing? I hope you know what I've been doing. I was into fitness and I just developed a program called Rhythmic Boxing. It became pretty big hit, and so this is a lot of non-martial arts came over. Now I went to Inosan Academy again and went back to the original core part, and now I'm start teaching the Inosano system, Rick Fay, and some of the stuff coming from you to the non-martial art people, especially ladies. What do you have any comments on it or anything you want to say about me or whatever?
Yeah, well, I mean, knowing you from the beginning, we trained very hard. We trained hard. And, from all the different things, Thai boxing, Filipino martial arts, wrestling, trying to put, I remember just being super excited to learn about all the wrist locks and how doing a Sorinji Kempo and how's it all going to fit in. And then, I mean, we had some wild experiences, like driving down Hennepin Avenue and some guy wants to fight. And so it's like, and so and so we, came from the kind of that combative martial art route. And then, everybody, like you said, had different route that they end up taking. But in the end, the foundation is still there. The foundation of all that hard training, all of these stuff we learned from Sifu Rick, from Guru Dan, from Achan Chai, from Larry Hartzell, from everybody. It's all still there. And Guru Dan is one of those people that says, yeah, do what you want to do. That's great. You're introducing martial arts to people that would probably never do martial arts because they think, I don't want to be sit there punching and kicking and getting punched and kicked, but then they have a different avenue that they can learn the movement of the martial arts, but now they're doing it in a fun way, in a way next to a lot of other people just like them. So I think it was great. it introduced martial arts to, I don't even know how many people you touched through that vehicle. So many. And now, is it coming back to something that really was always in you, all right? But you just took it in a different direction. And it's always been really awesome. Like Rick Fay and my school are different. Rick has how he trains, and I have mine. We're not too far apart. But the people that like how Rick and how the people there train, they'll go there. The people like how I train, they'll go there. And the people who like any of the number of 100 schools, they're going to find what is most beneficial to them. And I think that's an important thing. And so you took the martial arts and created the ring boxing and even the sticks and all the other things, and introduced martial arts to people that probably would have never ever done anything close to that, especially in Japan, right? It was very new. And so I think it's great.
Thank you. I think you're great. You're the greatest teacher. I'm so impressed. I know you when you were 19 or something. You mentioned about Hennepin Avenue. I remember we went out for a firework in the Mississippi. Now, some cocky kids came out and started hitting you. Remember that one? I mean,
yeah.
Oh man, we had a pretty wild time together. And I remember you were working at the Target and security. You were telling me all about the real things, the shoplifters you're trying to kind of catch and stuff, Oh, wow.
All of that, for me, it was like it was part of training. It was like, hey, this is the real. We get to practice for real.
You did it right. You were throwing the football players, and you were throwing them some cocky guys and some gangs, and oh man, you were shoplifters, and you got it tons of real fights. Whereas those kids thought I was a ninja. So
they
didn't want to fight me, that Shokosugi or some ninja octagon or something, right? These, right? And I kind of, because just of the way I look, I'm Japanese, right? So everybody thought I was a ninja. So nobody would fight me, And I was like, but you were the one always getting picked, and you beat the crap out of them. I mean, you are so strong and tough and amazing. That's I really made some foundation of you, and now full with love. And I mean, look how our martial art is all about destroying people, But now you turned it into great love towards people. Now how to love people, how to love yourself, right?
For sure. I always tell people, I said, the people who aren't competing and going out to compete in the martial arts, I said, the likelihood of you having to ever use martial art for real is pretty low.
I agree. Yeah.
But it'll teach you how to be more humble, to be a person who can tolerate failure and still come back for more, and learn, and a person who learns how to try things for the first time and be fine with not doing good at it and keep going and going and get better and better. And like we said, that's the same formula for anything that you do in life. You start not knowing what to do, and then you start doing it, and you start figuring things out, and you start making it a little bit personal, and you figure it out. And that's you get to practice that every single day we're in here doing martial arts. And so the mentality and the mindset and the attitude that you learn in martial arts, I think, is so important to be able to take that out to whatever you do, whatever your job is, whatever you want to learn. It's the same process, but now you're so used to it because we get to do it every single day.
Right. Wow. So what we have as a job is a wonderful job. I have you raise your kids very beautiful, and whoa, impressive. I want you to meet my kids too and my staff.
Yeah.
And I want you to do some seminars here too. So
that'd be great.
Let's see, so this YouTube will let Japanese people know who you are and wanted to come to take your seminar. That would be great.
That'd be a fun time.
One last part, is there anything, because I know a lot of people are suffering from going through some health issue in Japan, even young generation to the middle-aged, old age, and that's a big issue. But you, a great example of starting from young age, compatible pain and sufferings, and you found love, and you found really, really the meaningful truth in your life. Are there anything you can kind of share and advises to Japanese people and recommend to do some martial arts for the benefit of their life? Anything
Yes,
you can say would be fine.
for me, I think health is the greatest wealth by far,
Ooh.
right? So, and for me, the martial arts has allowed me to endure a lot of things that may or may not have been able to do without it. You know, I've kept movement, and I think movement, constantly moving and always, you know, having this variety of different ways to move. I think the Filipino martial arts with the stick work, and you're doing carenza, which is very fluid and flowing, is very good for your joints. And then you're doing other things that are helping you build up your condition, not only muscular but also your aerobic conditioning gets better and you get stronger. And when you start to create habits and healthy habits like that, now it becomes a lifestyle. And I think that's when you start to create those habits, when you start to create things that you look forward to doing every day that help with everything else, that's where I think the real change comes in your life. And I think that's where the martial arts is really unique, because you can go in so many directions. And I think that's the beautiful thing, especially with the Filipino martial arts and the JKD mentality, to absorb what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is specifically your own to your life and to your goals in life. Now you have something that will allow you to, you know, okay, I'm going to set, maybe have a job, but now I want to separate from my job and just be, you know, fluid and just kind of allow for creativity. Because if you focus too much on some things, you can damper the creativity, right? You just focus. I got to. Then, oh no, let's get away. Let's go do some Filipino martial arts where we're learning new things, and the connections in your brain are changing with your body. And the next thing you know, you have an idea. And I think that's a huge thing that people don't really think about, is the creativity that comes from, you know, the martial arts.
Right. Wow, that's very good. You know, when I was getting in some, like you say, focusing on one thing, and you know, well, let's say I have a little trouble or something, then I normally do some double six embrada or carenza or hubert with my son or my students, right? What is there anything you do when you kind of you know, get stuck and just come to the gym? And to me, it was Huba with you was a really great deal for me, and I really had a great fun. So I do Huba with people, and that gives me open up another. Well, let me find other ways to solve the problem. Is there anything you would do particular that?
I do a lot of carenza when I want to kind of just focus on my own, you know, kind of building my brain back up and relaxing. And because you can be so creative and you can listen to different music while you're doing it, or you can do it in silence. And for me, that's a big thing, because I do a lot of still like wrestling and Thai boxing and the mixed martial arts and jujitsu, which, you know, you're doing a lot of smash. All right. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to do the carenza now, which is going to open everything up and allow me to think and just be free with my thoughts. I don't have anybody to worry about. I can just focus on me, focus on what's going through my mind. I think for me, that's a big
All right.
a big thing, a big way for me to open up my mind and just be creative again.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Well, this has been really great, Greg. This has been super, way more than I thought. It was really something.
I always tell people, you know, do what you love what you do, and do it like you love it. You know, and that's a huge thing. And you know, with life, you know, it's like when I was 37 years old, you get cancer. That didn't see that coming, right? So I think it's important that you find that area in your life that you absolutely love, and that builds your passion, that you can have as an anchor. That's you know, so I have two things that, you know, my faith and my martial arts are kind of my faith is my anchor that's always there, and my martial arts is, you know, kind of ties my physical and my mental together. And whenever I need to get away, I can always go to my martial arts. I always have prayer. I always have, you know, that's always there. So to me, I'm always looking for how to kind of connect everything together. And I believe for me, just like Guru Dan says, that there's got to be a reason why I'm pulled into the martial arts.
Mhm.
Never had to be pushed, never had to be told to do it. It was just like something that it's like you're here to teach people and use the martial arts as a vehicle to allow them to open up mentally, physically, and eventually spiritually, for sure, and find the Lord.
Well, you concluded great. That was a beautiful conclusion. And very much I appreciate your time. And
Yes, definitely. You're part of my history.
oh, you are part of my big history, by the way.
Yeah.
Man, that was good. We had a great time.
Yes.
Wow. I don't know. I can't find a word about to express about you, It's just, you're great, man. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
いかがでしたでしょうか。今回の対談を通じて、武術が単なる格闘技ではなく、人生を豊かにするものだと改めて感じました。グレッグは武術を通して学んだことを人生のあらゆる場面で活かし、困難を乗り越えてきました。彼が語った情熱と信念があれば、人は成長し続けられるという言葉はとても印象的でしたね。また、武術は戦うだけのものではなく、人とつながる手段であり、自分自身を高めるものでもあります。今回の話を聞いて、皆さんの中にも何か感じるものがあったのではないでしょうか。ぜひ皆さんの気づきや感想をコメント欄でシェアしてください。グレッグにも届けたいと思いますし、今後の番組作りにおいても参考にさせていただきます。最後までご覧いただきありがとうございました。次回の配信をお楽しみに。